development, prosperity, and peace can overcome all the problems in the world. And those do not come without culture and civilization dialogue. The Chinese do not believe in unilateral civilization. They believe in multilateral civilizations. They believe that the cultural differences must be promoted to be conditions for working together, not to be, as the West wants to be unilateral attitude. This approach by China has won the majority of the people in the world, including the people in the West, in Europe and America. And this came from what Xi Jinping introduced in his work as a leader of the CCP or as the leader of the state, insisting on development and prosperity for the Chinese people. So he wants to expand such achievement in China to the world, including Europe and America. And to do so, to make the people and the world believe this, he worked hard to push the countries to go for development, for investing in those countries, not China to be only for trade. He wants to have countries to have sustainable development through the BRI initiative. This means that every country can win. Every country can make relations with other countries based on mutual benefits. When you have mutual benefits, the people start talking about mutual interests, about priorities. Don't talk about differences. That's why China has been able to convince a lot of countries not to make crisis, to avoid conflicts. The Western people want China. Why? Because China does not look for exploitative interests, looks only for mutual benefits. The people found in China's economy mutual benefits. Believes in soft policy based on Silk and Road of China 2000 years before. And he developed it to Belt and Road Initiative, supports investments in agriculture. It is for sustainable development, not only for commerce and trade. For example, the West has been in Africa for over 300 years. You don't find anything for sustainable development. China began only a few decades in Africa. It has built for Africa railways from Tanzania to Zambia, many roads, bridges, investing in agriculture, investment, not trade. That's what African people need. So African people now see the difference between the West and the China. The West exploiting African raw materials and China investing based on the mutual interests. That's why the West is trying to undermine China's presence in Africa. But they will not be able, because African people want China, not the West. The Chinese model of economic development advanced by Xi Jinping, that means food security, investment, prosperity for all, will overcome conflicts. So I think this model is very good. In fact, it should be in cooperation with them, because the West say we are all committed to United Nations Charter, to UN aims of development, etc. But when they come to practice, they don't do it. But until now, America and a lot of countries in Europe are using the United Nations only for their own interests, not for the global interests. That's why Xi Jinping wanted to make United Nations to become for global, not for individual countries. I expect in the future China communication sources and means like television and social media will expand more in Africa, because China have to work hard to contain Western propaganda against China. So to contain it, we have to do a lot of contacts to African people, to other people, to make them understand that the propaganda of the West is nothing to do with the aim of the real China. So China has to find ways how to send its messages through the people in Africa. Almost everybody has a telephone. So the means of communication via internet and via telephone is very important. Social media, very important for China. And then we go to other means. I think sometimes cultural activities through the embassies of China, it's good as well. We must promote culture contacts and friendship people contacts, because those guarantee the world of peace, guarantee justice, guarantee equality, because those will make the people work together and come together, overcome all the differences, all the conflicts. This makes a very healthy world for investment and for win-win cooperation. That's why we see now in China is working for the last few years hard to make agreements, memorandum, convictions with other countries, with universities, with communication centers, with strategic culture centers, etc., to promote cultural relations, to promote friendship relations. These are conditions to stop the military intervention, exploitation, expansion, because culture means the people understand each other despite their cultural differences, different religions, but there are the people in the whole all look for their health interests, for their education interests, for their food interests, for their prosperity, for their justice. What is important, the common factors that people work together for the prosperity.